Welcome everyone to the February 18th regular business board meeting. Thank you all for coming. We'll start the meeting by turning it over to Mr. Copeland.
Thank you, Mrs. Klein. It is my pleasure to introduce Bala-Cynwyd Middle School, and in her inaugural move as principal, Sarah Stout.
All right. Just hit display. Hey, there we go. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Stout. Thank you for having us here this evening. We're really excited to present. Briefly, I just want to talk a little bit about what we're working on this year at Bala-Cynwyd, and then specifically, I want to highlight two programs that really intermesh together that I'm particularly proud of. I also want to just take a moment and introduce, I have my assistant principal, Jeff Hunter, and my other assistant principal, Christine Fleming, here as well. So I know some of you may not have met, so just taking a moment to introduce. So this is a quote from a speech I gave the students on the first day of school, and how I described to them what we want to accomplish this year. I let them know that we want BC to be an excellent academic experience, but we also want BC to be a place where people have fun. We want BC to be a place where every person in our community feels safe physically and emotionally, as well as respected and appreciated. We know that through our strategic plan, we're working on a focus on student engagement. And we know that for our students to be purposefully engaged, they need to feel a sense of belonging. A researcher that I am particularly fond of, Robert Marzano, he talks about student engagement, and he mentions that student engagement happens as a result of careful teacher planning. It's not serendipitous. It's not something that happens by accident. It's something that happens when we carefully build structures, programming, learning opportunities for teachers and students. And when that happens, that's how we're able to increase engagement. At our school this year, one area that we're focusing on is making sure that we're a culturally responsive school, making sure that we are thinking about our teaching practices and thinking about our programming for our students that promote engagement for all learners, particularly students who are culturally diverse. So there's two programs that I'd like to highlight for you this year. The first is our Culturally Responsive Teaching Study Group, and for that I will introduce to you Dr. Rachel Nickel, and then Dr. Nickel will be introducing four speakers who will talk about our student program called REACH. So Dr. Nickel.
Thank you. Hello. So on the slide, you can see the mission statement that the teachers who are working on this group came up with this year as the beginning of a year-long and hopefully longer initiative where we will talk about race, culture, and identity as it pertains to teaching and learning. It's a group of teachers who came together formally over the summer under Sarah's leadership, but informally we had been working together for about a year and a half. And there are several purposes in our group. One is to facilitate collegial and personal reflection around issues of race, culture, and identity. And another is to help facilitate student conversation and learning about race, culture, and identity. And that grew out of our work with students in past years and continues this year. Among the things that we have done so far this year is have some subcommittees that work on, one of them works on resource gathering and collaborative co-teaching and lesson planning throughout the building in order to support culturally informed work. We've had book studies and what we've been calling teach-outs through faculty meetings and other informal gatherings of two books in particular, Culturally Responsive Teaching and The Brain by Zaretta Hammond, and Not Light by Fire by Matthew Kay, sorry. And that is going to be the subject matter of future faculty meetings and perhaps a 5-hour collaboration. A few other things we have been able to do is build in some programming where we've been doing work with students. In particular, there's a photograph up there from a group of students and teachers who went to see the 30 Americans exhibit at the Barnes Museum when it was here, an exhibit by contemporary artists who share African ancestry and American citizenship. And we are in the process of planning a school-wide sharing of what we learned and what we saw there, which we will do through our Rally platform next month. We also recently held the BCMS African American Read-In, in which over 1,000 people spent dedicated time, at the same time, reading and discussing works by and about Black authors. So those are a few highlights of what we've been working on and will continue to do. I'd like to introduce Lamont Greer, who's going to speak on behalf of REACH.
Good evening. My name is Lamar Greer. REACH is an organization where you can be yourself, express your feelings, and laugh and have fun. It is a place where you can make new friends. It is a place where you can learn more about your culture. Good evening, everyone. My name is Layla Jackson. I'm in the REACH program. This year in REACH, we talked about being Black in a predominantly white school. We also talked about conflicts and situations that we went through and how we faced them. In REACH, we have also went on trips. We went to Abington Middle School and met kids just like us. We also went to see an African American dance play, and yeah.
Hello, my name is Renaj McAlily. I am a part of the REACH program. REACH makes BC better because it gives minorities a place to fit in. It also gives you people to talk to when we have a problem about anything. Martin Luther King said that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. REACH is light. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zion Gray, and I'm a part of the REACH program. The REACH program is beneficial for the minority students to learn, speak, and know about their culture, but most importantly, understand. To be prepared for the future, you have to learn from the mistakes of the past. Therefore, diversity is beneficial. Thank you for inviting us.
I hope you can tell why I'm just so extremely proud of my students and the experience they've had this year and their teachers who are thoughtfully planning those experiences. We've talked a lot at BC this year about this concept that students have to Maslow before they can bloom, that we need to make sure for all students that we're focused on this idea of security, physical, emotional, and social well-being as we push students to strive. So thank you so much for your time, and it was my pleasure to tell you a little bit about our school. Thank you. Do you have any questions that I could answer? Wonderful. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we have time for audience recognition, specifically on action items only. Please note, so there's no confusion, public comment on agenda items will be later. Right now it's just for things that are action items. No takers? Okay. So now we will move forward to the first of the recommended action, which is approve the minutes from the Board of Directors school meetings. So the recommended action is to approve the attached minutes from the Board of School Directors meetings, the January 27th regular business board, the February 10th Education Committee and supplemental regular board meeting, and also accept the following committee meeting minutes: the February 4th curriculum meeting, the February 7th policy meeting, and the February 13th facilities and purchasing meeting. Are there any questions about these? No? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes. Now, turn the meeting back over to Mr. Copeland for his highlights.
Thank you, Ms. Klein. So I'm pleased to share that a total of 26 students from our district have been named National Merit Finalists this year. 12 of the finalists are from Harridan High School and 14 are from Lower Merion High School. Congratulations are also in order for Lower Merion High School junior Leo Steinride. Leo is the winner of the 8th annual Jazz at Lincoln Center's Essentially Ellington Dr. J. Douglas White Student Composition and Arranging Contest. His composition will be recorded by the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra, and he will receive a cash prize. In addition, Lower Merion School District students brought home nearly 90 gold and silver keys and honorable mentions from the 2019 Scholastic Art and Writing Awards competition. Works by students from Bala-Cynwyd Middle School, Lower Merion High School, and Harrington High School were selected for more than 300,000 writing and artwork entries for these honors. And finally, congratulations to Lewis Knight. I understand he goes by Lou E., a 2018 Lower Merion High School grad who appeared on American Idol Sunday night. He performed a song he wrote about a friend's suicide and received great reviews from the judges. Moving on to the next round of the competition, we wish him much luck on the show. Concludes my highlights. In terms of human resources, administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached human resources actions HR 1 through HR 6.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Did we do the report?
Yep. Okay. So I'll move on to educational services and start with the March 4th Curriculum Committee meeting report by Ms. Finger.
The first was a textbook proposal. Allison Mellett and Shannon Davis, the World Language Chairs, presented their proposal for a new French textbook for middle and high school. The current book, BND, has been used since 2013 and is now expired. So there's been some tech issues this past year. They've tried to work to resolve it between our tech department and teachers and their tech department at BND. But the end result is we are no longer compatible. So this past fall, the department looked at several textbooks, and they wanted to find one that would address aspects of our strategic plan, such as transformative curriculum and redefining assessment, as well as finding one that is culturally responsive, represents real-world culturalism, and explores lives of real people from Francophone countries. So they landed on this book, Entrée Cultures, for several reasons. They can build cultural insights while learning French. It is a proficiency-driven program with a focus on intercultural communication. It uses understanding by design or backwards design, so it starts with the end in mind and what students will be able to do, and that aligns with how the district plans lessons. It has integrated performance assessments and others. So this will be the book for 7th and 8th grade French and levels 1 through 3 for high school, and we'll have 6 years of digital online access. Teachers are really excited. They've already started using some of the activities. The next was the math sequence, and that was presented by Scott Eveslag and Jason Lilly by phone. And they went through how our students are currently able to access upper-level curriculum and courses. We have on-ramps, we have jump starts. The integrated math program is a whole new way to engage students in math inquiry. And currently, the only thing we have not offered in our implementation timeline is a Math 8 bridge. So previously, you were either in accelerated math from grade 5 on, or you were not. Our new math program has Math 6, Math 7, Math 7-8, Math 8, integrated 1, 2, and 3. So we're making these advancement changes for the following reasons. Curriculum, so equity and access to higher level coursework is increased. Assessment, it reduces double testing in middle school of the PSSAs and Keystones. Instruction, inquiry is enhanced. And the various math pathways will give students what they need when they need it. So, currently, we have a summer bridge/acceleration options for Math 4, Math 5, Math 6. Now what we're going to be doing is offering a summer Math 8 course after successful completion of Math 7 if students want to advance to integrated Math 1 as an 8th grade student. So it'll be a full course called Math 8. It's optional. So where the bridge courses are acceleration options for eligible students, this would be a course open to all students after Math 7. The Summer 8 course would focus on Math 8 standards that would allow students to take Integrated 1 as an 8th grader. It's an advancement opportunity, and there'll be a choice. It could be a mix of blended and face-to-face class times offered through the MCIU's virtual learning program, or it would be face-to-face, similar to other secondary advancement courses. 15 students is the minimum enrollment threshold for a face-to-face class. Financial aid will be available. The cost is completely waived for students on free and reduced lunch, and the administration will work with families who are not on free and reduced lunch. It is aligned with the secondary course fee structure, and it will be housed at Harriton with transportation shuttles from Lower Merion High School. And then the third presentation was an update on the work of the Middle School 5 through 8 Committee, and that was by Dr. Evis Lodge. There are 50 members on the 5 through 8 Committee, with a mix of elementary, middle, and high school teachers, administrators, curriculum supervisors, student services, special ed, gifted ed, world language, and special area teachers. They're looking at the program from the current model to the new 5 through 8 model. They're in the early stages. They are not in the recommendation phase. And they're looking to answer, or asking actually, these two essential questions. One, how can we reimagine our 5 through 8 program? And two, what could the 5 through 8 experience be for our students? To address these essential questions, they are grounded in middle school research, envisioning the strategic plan possibilities, which, by the way, the strategic plan has been instrumental in both the design of the building and the design of the experience. And they are visiting other 5 through 8 models like TE and Upper Merion. This is not just about the new middle school, but about the 5 through 8 program across all 3 schools. Teachers from both Bala-Cynwyd and Welsh Valley are involved in the process. The new learning spaces provide exciting new programming opportunities, and the middle school committee is very motivated to think about them. The other 2 middle schools are being discussed since they will have 300 fewer students, allowing for some different opportunities to reimagine those spaces, and our architect has a significant amount of experience in education to help us do this. We want to be able to have ourselves in a financial situation so our current middle schools can be looked at and reimagined. The opening date for the new middle school will be September 6th, 2022. There are several subcommittees working through different aspects and questions. Vision, organizational framework, programming, specials and choice, world languages, bell schedules, technology, library makerspace, which they're only connected by subcommittee but not necessarily in actual space, recess, lockers, and the Welsh Valley, Bala-Cynwyd opportunities that will exist, and facilities. And each of those has some questions that they'll be answering. And the next CCOB meeting will be in this room, March 3rd at 8:30 in the morning.
For the educational services recommended action items, I'd like to take B and C in one motion. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached purchase agreement subject to review of terms for Entree Cultures textbooks and digital resources for French 1, 2, 3 at a cost of $147,000. And the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached overnight trip requests.
Can you say what the trips are?
Not usually.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Under Student Services, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the student services agreements for students receiving non-district educational services SS1 to SS8.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce Mr. Driscoll, who will report on the February 13th Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting.
I'm actually.
Oh, sorry.
Do the reading of it.
Mr. Lee.
Okay. The following agenda items were discussed and recommended for approval by the committee, the Facilities Committee, so they may be discussed and voted on the meeting tonight. First, we reviewed and recommended for approval the list of bills. We reviewed and recommended for approval the 6-year contract for Wayside Publishing to provide print and digital textbooks and services related to the French Entre Cultures product. We reviewed and recommended for approval the following items from the purchasing report. Johnson Controls for $42,850 to replace the fire panel at Kinwood Elementary. Hondru Ford, $41,900 for the purchase of a new Ford Expedition XL. That's going to augment the ability of the Transportation Department to provide field service to students and vehicles. Currently, the Transportation Department primarily uses Ford Escapes, which are too small in some cases. It's to be determined whether this is adding a new vehicle to the fleet or we're going to retire one of the Escapes when they go end of life. Manderbach Ford, $29,935 for the purchase of a new Ford Explorer to replace an existing 2009 Ford Escape that is coming end of life. Watts Services LLC, $7,555,000 for preliminary site work at the new middle school. This encompasses the base bid of $7,495,000 plus an alternate phase for phase 3 site work and subtracting alternate phase 4 for rock crushing. We reviewed and recommended for approval technology purchase for Presidio Network Solutions, $7,702.12 for backup network equipment to safeguard against network outages. We reviewed and recommended for approval technology purchase for E+, $60,414 for the purchase of air conditioning units in the district data center to ensure proper cooling of the district servers. We reviewed and recommended for approval a technology purchase for Gordian, $168,660.78 for the installation of the air conditioning units in the district data center and the removal of existing air conditioning units on the roof. We reviewed and recommended for approval an agreement for Mobile Ease for a commitment to lease modular units at Marion Elementary. This isn't the actual lease agreement. This is a commitment to lease, and there are future financial payments should the district opt not to move forward with these. As well, we discussed some project updates. The construction document phase is over 50% complete at the new middle school. Final plan resubmission occurred around February 4th. Our original goal was February 18th for approval, but there are ongoing conversations with the township around that. The AT&T cellular equipment was removed from the mansion, so no future updates are expected on that. Abatement of hazardous materials is substantially complete, as well as the demolition of all structures except the mansion. Early site work bids were received and a recommendation was made. That's the item 3D on the report above, which was the Watts Services LLC. And the Act 34 hearing was scheduled for 6 p.m. earlier tonight and occurred. Next Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting will be on March 12th at 8:30 a.m. in this room.
Under the Business Office and Finance, I'd like to take items B through F in one motion. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the following action items: approve the list of bills, approve the financial report for January 2020, approve the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit 2021 Member Services Budget, accept with pleasure pursuant to Policy 702, projection screens and AV components for the Kobe Bryant Memorial event at Lower Merion High School. That's valued at $4,000 from Starlight. $200 to fund a tree planting in the spring of 2020 at Marion Elementary School from Brownie Troop 7567. And the last one was ATEC M3X baseball pitching machine and accessories to the Lower Merion High School from the Lower Merion High School Basketball Booster Club. That is approximately valued at $2,829.56, and approve the surplus items as surplus property and authorize the disposition thereof.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
I had a question. I was just wondering about the MCIU notice. I was reading the the paper that we were submitted on board docs, and it seemed like in the past that we've had the number for what the MCIU membership will be, and this time we don't, and I'm wondering, like, that the actual number would be determined later once, did I misread that?
No, so
It's not the attachment,
it's a
motion.
So our portion of the budget is $145,375.
Okay.
That's what we're paying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes.
Okay, under the facilities and operations, I'm going to take items A through E in one motion. As noted in Mr. Lee's report, all these items were reviewed by the committee and brought forward for approval tonight. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the following action items. Award the contract to replace the fire panel at Kenwood Elementary School. Award the contract for the purchase of Ford Expedition. Award the contract to replace the Ford Explorer P-2. And award the bid for the preliminary site work construction at the new middle school. Approve the agreement with Mobile Lease Modular Space, Inc. for reservation of modular units for Marion Elementary School. Approve the quote from Presidio Networked Solutions for spare network switches in the amount of $7,702.12. Approve the quote from E-Plus in the amount of $60,414 for APC equipment. Approve the quote from Gordian in the amount of $168,660.78 for the AP installation.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. I'd like now to introduce Ms. Ackman, who's going to provide the Policy Committee meeting report from the February 7th Policy Committee meeting.
Okay, some thank you. Some highlights from the meeting include that some strategic plan updates will be reported out in the spring, mainly through the curriculum committee of the board and the education board meetings. But any items that require policy updates will come to the policy committee, although it's not clear yet what those items will be, if any. There was some discussion around policy and administrative regulation 908 volunteers. We discussed finding a way to provide more education to potential volunteers at the beginning of the school year or over the summer so that it seems less confusing to get clearances before school actually starts and there's a crunch finding volunteers for September in-school events. We discussed policy and administrative regulation 907, visitors to schools and classrooms. The discussion was about finding a way to do tours once a month for prospective new residents rather than not offering any regular tours at all. And this is something the administration is currently exploring. It's tricky to find a balance between providing tours and actually running the buildings and not distracting too much from other things that need to get done. So more to come there. We discussed policy 810, student transportation. This policy has come up a lot recently in relation to the school start time discussion. Though anyone on the board or with the public who has an interest in this, it's posted on publicly, and you should take a look and make sure you get back to us with any concerns or input. Policy 002, school board organization. There's a current proposal about adding a student voice to the board, which I think lots of people think is a good suggestion. So this is something we'll be discussing over the next few months in the policy committee and report out eventually to the full board. And I think that's my report. Do I have to read other things from the agenda? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ackman. So the following policies were reviewed for a second reading. Policy 215, Promotion, Acceleration, and Retention. Policy 901, Community Relations Objectives. Policy 904, Public Attendance at School Events. Policy 906, Addressing Complaints and Concerns of the Community. And Policy 908, Volunteers. Are there any questions on these policies? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. The motion passes. The following policies were reviewed for a first reading. Policy 907, Visitors to School Buildings and Classrooms During the School Day. Policy 918, Lower Merion Academy Committee, that policy is for repeal. Policy 920, Distribution of Promotional Information. Policy 921, Search of non-student and/or non-staff automobiles on school property, that is also for repeal. Policy 810, Student Transportation. Policy 206, Assignment of Students Within the District. And Policy 002, School Board Organization. Next, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the following school calendars. The 2020 and 2021 revised school calendar and the 21-22 school calendar. Are there any questions about the school calendars?
So I had two questions that are just pretty minor. On May 17th, there's an in-service for the K-8 staff, but the high school also has off. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, they have election day. So on election day, the primary, we have school, we do not have school for K through 8, and then.
And high school has school.
And then high school has school, and then they do the professional development and switch it out on the other date.
Okay. And just, has the administration considered a solution possibly for half-days disproportionately affecting students in PM kindergarten versus AM kindergarten having fewer days?
Not really. It usually works out that, I don't want to say anything about snow, but it usually works out that there's sometimes more cancellation of AM kindergarten because of delayed, but let's not spend a lot of time talking about that, if that's okay.
Thank you.
We may want to make sure everyone knows why school is starting September 9th, not on September 7th. It's
In 2021.
yeah, it's a long summer.
So our Jewish holidays fall on the 7th and 8th of that month. Then, so Labor Day's Monday, then the Jewish holidays Tuesday and Wednesday. So we start Thursday the 9th for that school year.
Thank you, Denise.
Make your plans now.
Yeah, my God.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. The motion passes. Now's the opportunity to take public comment on any topics. If anyone would like to say anything, please sign in with Mrs. LaPera. You'll be given 3 minutes for your comment. Anyone? All right. Now I'll pass it to Mr. Roos.
Thank you. First, I'll announce the Sunshine Act announcements. Board met in executive session on February 10th regarding possible land acquisition, and February 18th regarding possible land acquisition as well as land use litigation. I also want to announce that earlier tonight, as was referenced in Mr. Lee's report, the board held an Act 34 hearing for the new middle school in order to comply with Pennsylvania Department of Education and regulations and state law. Residents and taxpayers of the school district still have the ability to submit written testimony regarding the proposed project at any time on or prior to March 19th, 2020 by submitting it, mailing, or delivering it to Mrs. LaPera.
Thank you. Just to list some of the upcoming meeting dates, on March 9th will be the Education Committee and supplemental regular board meeting. March 16th will be the regular business board meeting, both of those here in the administrative building boardroom at 8 p.m. The following committee meetings will be held here in the boardroom at 8:30 a.m. unless otherwise noted. March 3rd is a curriculum committee meeting. March 6th is policy. March 12th is facilities and purchasing. And March 18th is the communications at 7 p.m. I will just like to point out, and March 25th is the finance committee meeting. For anyone that keeps tabs of upcoming meetings, please note that the April meetings are shifted a little bit from the normal dates because of spring break being the first full week. We have no further business, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.